Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me here. And what I will be talking about, it's probably not about integration of some specific solution, or not about how to make Zabbix collect some exotic data from the city buses or other very interesting sources. But I will talk about strategies that will expand the Zabbix scalability and expanding Zabbix capability itself. What's the concept of the federated observability is? The idea is very simple. Federated observability, that's where you can deploy multiple Zabbix instances to monitor a single controlled environment. How to do this? So, this is your usual case. This is your Zabbix. This is your Zabbix server. And the functionality of Zabbix server is limited. It's basically what you're going to get from the wonderful Zabbix team. This is your Zabbix database. And here is the performance limitation. The database will store only yay much and will perform only as much as a database can perform. Zabbix proxies are a wonderful method of spreading the collection. And Zabbix agent is great for scale the functionality, but everything is coming to a choking point. Zabbix server itself and Zabbix database. So where the Zabbix shines? Zabbix really great when it handles a very specific load that it can handle. So for the single server instance, Zabbix doing really great. If you agree to extend your functionalities through the Zabbix API, Zabbix API is really good for what it's for. If you agree to submit the data through the Zabbix trapper or through the API, that is also your straightforward point of Zabbix use. If you're happy with the single database instance performance, that's fine. That's probably you don't need to do all what I will talk about. So, what's the ZBus is offering to you? So first, it's a telemetry bus. What is the telemetry bus? Telemetry bus is the distributed point-to-point media based on the publish, subscribe, and store mechanism designed to distribute and store telemetry data. Next, generally people using Python or other languages to solve programmatic needs for the Zabbix, but generally none of those languages are designed to support telemetry computation. Processing pipelines. With the telemetry, with the ZBus solution, you can organize the telemetry processing pipelines. If you wanted to implement telemetry processing pipelines out of box with the Zabbix, that will be a challenging task. And integration, that's another choking point with the Zabbix because there is actually more than one method of integrating external data sources or external destination with the Zabbix. So, as I mentioned before, Zabbix is an excellent platform, though it deserves a better scalability. And the next interesting point, Zabbix actually provides you everything that you need to build a horizontally scaled federated observability platform. So if you just think it through and implement this, this will actually make Zabbix a really strong player on the market where SaaS observability solution currently shines, because they can just handle more data than Zabbix can. So, the common pattern how you use the Zabbix is this. You deploy a single Zabbix instance. Here is your Zabbix server. That is UI, that is database, that is agent or a proxy, and you start to submit your data to your single Zabbix instance. And you submit some more, and you submit some more until you reach, I'm personally seeing 60 or 70K NVPS. I heard this, probably it's more than that. But generally, I assume anything above 50,000 NVPS of the Zabbix server performance, that is required some skills and some wizardry to tune Zabbix in the database. And what the people doing in this situation? They deploy the second Zabbix server, of course. And boom. Now we have a data and functionality isolation. So we have some data, some of our telemetry on one server, and some of our telemetry on the second server. What could be done for that? And with the few tools that, using pretty standard Zabbix capabilities and Zabbix APIs, we can solve this problem. First, we establish, this is outside of Zabbix point-to-point telemetry bus, that is store, publish, subscribe media, that is really good for telemetry storage. Then ZBus loadable module loaded into the agent, providing access of the data stored in the bus to the agent, and therefore make it accessible to the Zabbix server. And then a Zabbix Universal Data Gateway. This is your external data gateway, which using Zabbix HTTP export protocol that catches data in the real time and sending data to the bus. If you provide the same arrangement for your second Zabbix server, Universal Data Gateway, and loadable module, then you effectively will remove the data gap between the different between two Zabbix servers. So now with this arrangement, you can actually create your federated observability that will consist of the multiple Zabbix servers. Each of those will handle the specific part of the load. Or you can also deploy a Zabbix server. Each of them will load the data from the telemetry bus generated by another Zabbix server and give you necessary consolidations. So this arrangement will give you really horizontal scalability. You will cross the boundary of the, let's say, 50K. And this is not a theory. This is actually done. I don't say it's a production. At this point, I consider this as the proof of the concept, although testing and performance testing and stability testing didn't find any significant flaws. This doesn't mean there is none, but it actually works quite well. So in this window, first you're gonna do, you start Xenox server. Xenox server is your telemetry bus. Then you start your Zabbix agent and load ZBus module into the Zabbix agent. Thus, you establish the link between telemetry bus and Zabbix environment. Next, you start Universal Data Gateway. Unfortunately, you do need to provide API, and you do need to query API as you ingesting Zabbix data, because Zabbix export protocol provides you host ID, host description, but not host name. Why? I hope at some point this will be resolved, and I will not be needed to query Zabbix API to find out what's the host name passed to the Zabbix export protocol. Next, you go to your Zabbix and configure your connector. And then you, with the simple Zabbix get, you check your query bus. You are using your telemetry bus. You are using zbus.get, and then, well, this is actually your all-in-common Zabbix telemetry item name, but it is converted to the / format. So through the zbus.get, you are sending a request through your Zabbix agent to the ZBus. Also, you can do this through the Zabbix as well. So after you've done those few very simple steps, instead of isolated Zabbix instances, you have a federated Zabbix instances. And you have a federated environment which you can scale horizontally according to amount of data that you are planning to handle. So what else this idea and what else Zabbix telemetry bus and gateways can offer to you? It offers you to have an access to your events as to your data. So you can catch a Zabbix alert, send it to the bus, and then treat these facts as your data. You can perform statistical analysis, you can perform MLOps over your events, just like you perform this with the data. Next, those tools allow you to enhance your Zabbix telemetry with some statistical computation, such as forecasting. I do know Zabbix do have a forecast, but mechanisms. But I offer another method of computing forecast using Markov chains. I find this will gives you more accurate prediction without fiddling with the fit functions. Also, it gives you, it samples your data and gives you instant real-time statistical computation over your sample. Next, it is a programmatic language which embedded inside the Universal Data Gateway. It is a scripted language which gives you access to your telemetry. For example, this is an example of the filter function. So you can filter which data will reach the gateway. Or this is the transformation function. It will tell you how you wanted to transform this JSON to something else. Yeah, here is the example. And also, Zabbix Universal Data Gateway can do some, beyond doing forecasting, it can do some statistical analysis, like finding anomalies, breakouts, and categorize the text data. In addition to all this, Universal Data Gateway can provide you access to another tools commonly used in the observability world, such as Prometheus Exporter or NATS or syslog. So you can actually establish the syslog catcher and immediately send collected syslogs to a telemetry bus. I supported ClickHouse because business intelligence people do love to have this kind of stuff. And ClickHouse do have a really simple and convenient interface, and BI tools like Druid and Power BI do have a really simple integration with the ClickHouse. So this provides the access to the telemetry data to the business intelligence people who normally don't have access to this. Next, telemetry pipelines. I already spoke about this. Essentially, what this is your telemetry transformation. You can establish the catchment of the telemetry data from the one telemetry bus and send this telemetry to another telemetry bus. And you can aggregate the different telemetry bus. You can fan out data collected from one telemetry bus to the multiple telemetry buses. And you can do the transformation, you can do the analysis and all this kind of things. And this tool also provides you quick and easy access to the JSON RPC, so you can query the data stored on the telemetry bus using JSON RPC. And all this actually requires you to use those two tools, Universal Data Gateway and the bus module. That's all to it, and it's freely available on my GitHub. Loadable module, sometimes it's finicky and it's very dependent on Zabbix version. If you will start to build the loadable module on your version of the Zabbix and it will fail, try again or try to reach me, see if I can be any of the help. Or offer your best idea about like how you can implement the access to external data source from the Zabbix. This all been made available with the help of the Rust and JCC compilers. And thank you for the Zabbix people for the Zabbix. And now it's about me. I've been around probably long enough. Last 25 years I devote to monitoring and observability. Been working for the Zabbix platform probably as long as like beginning version 1.2 maybe. And for 5 years I worked for the company who made the observability tools and instruments out of my 25+ year career. And if you guys want to get in touch with me, LinkedIn URL is provided. And thank you for your attention.